My guest is Raywat Deonandan. He is an epidemiologist at the University of Ottawa. Good to have you on the program, Raywat, and thank you for taking some time for CTV News.
Thank you very much.
All right, so how important is this now in terms of being able to figure out A, who's got it, B, who they've come into contact with, and C, trying to lock it all down?
It's everything. The three important things you have to focus on are TTI, we call it: testing, tracing, and isolation. Without these three things, we can't do anything. If we're going to have anything resembling a sense of normalcy for a prolonged period of time and prevent or mitigate that strong second wave, this is what we have to invest in now and invest heavily.
Yeah, I know that some people, I know you're one of them, have been talking about this for quite a while, about how important this is to make sure that we've got the infrastructure, the pipes, if you will, to make sure we can do this, because it requires a lot of people, Raywat, to actually do it effectively.
That's right. In fact, China in February, the WHO had to hire about 2,000 teams of 5 epidemiologists each to contain the outbreak in one particular part of that country. We haven't got that amount of resources to apply in Canada, so we need to recruit some new technologies as well, the apps, the tracing apps, that sort of thing. It's unfortunate that we're in the middle of a 21st century relying on medieval techniques and technologies like tracking people down physically. We should be using our high-tech information technology resources like the tracking apps. But yeah, the contact tracing is everything.
Are we slow to the game? I mean, we've known about the importance of contact tracing for, as I mentioned, months now. Why only at this point here in late May are we starting to sort of get the ball rolling?
Well, we are sort of slow to the game in that we're only hearing about it now, but in the background, there's been a recruitment campaign going on for weeks. So many of my students have been recruited, many of my colleagues are involved in the training. So this has been happening. Now we're hearing about the full court press at the national level, which is important. The game now changes a bit. We have to get better buy-in from the citizens to understand this is a little bit of an intrusion into our personal lives, but it's necessary to keep everybody safe. So to answer your question, we are late, but we're also not late, and it's never too late to do more.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Something else that was getting ready to come on the air, I was reading about this, Raywat, the idea that, let's say, for example, I'm infected. I might come into contact with dozens of people that you, as a contract tracer, now have to track down and get in touch with. I mean, you think it's kind of staggering, isn't it, to figure out, how many people might need to be involved here in order to be able to do that effectively. And even then, it's not foolproof.
That's exactly right. It's a bit of detective work. In fact, Iceland hires actual criminal detectives to do contact tracing. So when we train contact tracers, it's a little bit of grunt work, it's detective work, it's epidemiology. A lot of it is over the phone, talking to people. But increasingly, I think we're going to have to use things like social media, Google Maps, tracking apps, that sort of thing. And the new apps coming out by Google and Apple will help us with having to remember where we've been and who we've been in contact with. That's going to help enormously. It is an incredibly huge job, but we can do it. It's been done before. It's simply a matter of having the political will and the resources.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, if I get on a bus, I mean, how do we figure out who was on that bus? And also, human memory is not always perfect. I may forget the places that I went to, Raywat, or the people I came into contact with.
That's exactly right, which is why we need the technologies. So the technologies right now come in two categories. Either they're GPS driven or they're Bluetooth driven. And the GPS thing essentially tracks where you've been and keeps it in a central server, which is scary for some people. But the Bluetooth methodology is more like the data is stored on your phone. It keeps track of other phones it's been in contact with. And if you are test positive at some point, then you can release your data to public health in order to identify those people you're in contact with over the past couple of weeks. I think absent of these kinds of technological innovations, it's going to be a really hard job indeed. And simply calling people from an office isn't going to get the job done.
And the technology does work, correct? I mean, some countries have been deploying this, South Korea, Taiwan, others, to great effect. It's been successful.
That's exactly right. Now, the tolerance of different populations is going to vary. So different societies have a different acceptance of authoritarian interventions into our personal lives, of having Big Brother aware of our whereabouts. So we're going to have to live with a little bit of lessened liberties and privacy. Australia has a great app. I think Alberta is developing its own app. I think what we need is a standardized app. And it's heartening to hear that both Google and Apple are partnering and putting aside their corporate positions to put together one package that everyone can use on all their devices. So I see this as a positive step forward. As well, we have some innovations in smart technologies and smart cities that may allow us to track where people go in real time by other devices as well. So new approaches and new resources are coming down the pipeline.
Raywat Deonandan, great to have you with us. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.